Hello and welcome to Me, the Wife and Wrexham AFC, a weekly podcast and YouTube channel discussing everything Wrexham from the point of view of long-term fans and brand new fans like my wife. So sit back, put your feet up, relax and let's get stuck in. Hello and welcome to episode 31 of Me, the Wife and Wrexham AFC. Bumper week this week.
Absolutely.
Played 2 games, need to talk about them. Got 2 games coming up this week, need to talk about them. Other stuff, need to talk about that. We got a lot to get through this week.
You always say that.
I do, yeah.
We've got a lot to get through.
But it's only an hour, isn't it? So we've got to, it's a lot to
Crack
get through.
on then.
Got to get a lot to get through in an hour.
Should we talk about Woking on Tuesday?
No, stop. No, something I wanted
but that's what the notes say, Ryan.
Yes, I just remembered something. Just something to mention to everybody. This Thursday, whatever the date is, this Thursday. So we have
23rd.
23rd. We've got a special episode coming up. So that'll be episode 32. And that will be...
I wondered where you were going with that.
Yeah, and that will be our interview with Wrexham legend Lee Jones.
Yay.
So keep your eyes peeled for that. That'll be out on Thursday, where we had a chat with Lee a couple of weeks ago, didn't we?
Yeah.
We put the interview together for all you lovely listeners out there, so you can have a little listen to that.
It was a great interview, to be fair.
It was brilliant, yeah. So that'll be out on Thursday, and that'll be out the normal time, about 6 o'clock on YouTube and all
that jazz.
All your other podcast locations. So, Woking. So, the Valentine's Day game.
Oh, it was so romantic.
It was romantic,
it was.
wasn't
My brother was there with us.
Yeah, so, there wasn't much love flying about, was there, after Tuesday's game? I'll be completely honest.
No.
So we drew 2-2. One thing I would say is we're quite used to winning now, and I think all the fans have got quite used to winning. We draw 1 game.
And everyone's like, it's going to pot.
Yeah, everyone's head fell off on social
rubbish,
media.
Yeah, we're just rubbish, but...
What as you as a new fan as a new fan what was your, because you're very used to seeing them win, and
I have seen them lost as well,
Yeah, I know you've seen them lose, but you've got into that sort of routine of seeing them win. As of old fans, I'm not saying it's just a new fan thing, but you've only ever really seen them win, haven't you? So when something like this happens, how does it feel for you as a new fan?
Okay, well, talking of this, I put a post on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I think on our other socials as well, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
And I said, yes, we drew.
Yes.
But we have to remember we have got the best team, like strength and depth wise, in the National League. And arguably some in the, League 1 and League 2.
Yeah.
So I said we shouldn't be, having a go at them. We are still, how many more games have we got? 16, is it? Something like that?
It's a good question. I think it was 16 after Woking. I'm not sure.
Around about that, anyway.
15, 16.
Yeah, so, we've still got all those games to play. Yes, Notts County are always, they're there all the time.
Always bloody winning.
Always winning those damn Notts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, people have got to be, they need to take a step back and have a look at past games. We've drawn, we've won, I don't think, when was the last time we lost? Last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
I know we're only in February, but...
So league, you mean? In the league, the last time we lost was Chesterfield or Notts County. Which one came? No, the last one we lost was Notts County.
So, typical. So, we haven't lost a game since then.
So as a new fan, you're basically, what you're saying, you're quite happy to just go, no, it's okay. It's just a little hiccup and we can just move on.
It wasn't a loss. We still came away with a point.
That's good. Do you want a stat?
Do I want a stat? I thought you said, do I want a snack then?
Yeah, with 5 minutes in, do you want a snack? Do you want a stat?
Yeah, go on.
So, everyone's head fell off, we drew. If we were to draw...
I think you might, sorry to interrupt, but I think you might have to explain to our international listeners what your fans' heads fell off, because they might not understand that saying.
Okay, all right, yeah. So your head falling off means you've just gone, oh, you've lost it.
You've lost your mind.
You've lost it, basically. Yeah. That's what your head falling off. Yeah, that's a very good point, actually. Yeah, so a stat for you.
Okay.
If we were to draw every single game we've got left, yeah, so 15, 16, whatever that is, we would end up with more points than we finished the season on last season. That's a little stat for you.
Yeah.
I know this season is going to need more points than last season did, but, you know, for progression and all that sort of stuff, even if we were to draw every single game we had left, we would end up with more points than we did last season. I think people just need to bear that in mind.
Is that after the Aldershot game yesterday?
If we drew every game after the Woking game, we would have ended up on the same points as last season. So, you know, that's just something to bear in mind. We are moving forward as a team. We are going to drop points. That is going to happen.
So Notts County?
Yeah, and let's be honest, Woking were a very good team. They were well drilled. They were dirty. I'm not sure they were. But...
I mean, come on, that first, literally, as the air whistle went, number 5, I don't know what his name is, don't even care, but he wasn't going for that ball. He was intentionally trying to injure one of our best players.
Yeah.
And the referee, I mean, I know at literally every episode we say that the referee was rubbish, but the referee and the linesman were both rubbish, and I'm sure you've got it in your notes to talk about. But so I thought they were dirty.
Yeah, but they were good. They were well drilled, and you can see why they were third in the league, and you can see why they're doing quite well. It was a poor start. I think, you know, we're missing Hayden and Tunnicliffe in the air. You know, Tozer got beaten to the ball, got flicked to the back post. No one was really tracked the guy who'd sort of split off on the back, and they went 1-0 up. For a good, I'm always quite, you know, if another team score, I'm very much of the mindset of it's okay because we're going to score. Do you think like that as well?
Yeah.
Do you
always think we're going to win.
Yeah, I always think it's okay. I know they've scored first, and that's not ideal, but I always think we're going to score.
Yeah.
So I'm never particularly worried. I would rather, and I think I said this at the game on Tuesday, if they're going to score, I'd rather they score early anyway.
Yeah, not like the last minute.
You know, if we're going to have to give away a goal, then I would rather it be in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Because then you've got 80 minutes to put that right and to get goals. I wanted to talk about our midfield a little bit quickly because they were tiny. They were very small. So we had Cannon, Lee and Young. I don't think we had a player above 5'8" in that midfield on Tuesday night. What do you see as the sort of disadvantages of having such a small midfield? In your opinion?
In my opinion?
Yeah.
Well, if the opposing team, if you've got bigger midfielders, then you're gonna, you could argue that, smaller statured people, would be able to run faster. But then you think, well, they've got smaller legs, so they probably can't run as. So it's like, I don't know, it's like one of them, isn't it? It's like, you know.
This is what bothers me. That bothers me if you've got 3 in midfield and they're all small, which they all are. They all got for headers, and now and again they do win them. I'm not saying that, you know, but they are small. So when you're defending corners, that's where it bothers me a little bit that everyone's quite small, because your defensive unit at a corner comprises of your defence, but it also comprises of your midfield. Now, them 3 players, if you take them individually at a corner, you would sort of go, you stay out of the way. You stay out of the way. You stay out on the edge of the box. You track a runner around the outside, or you stay over there. But you can't do that when you've got 3 of them. They have to go in there and they have to attack the ball. That's what bothers me a little bit about having a small midfield. I thought the 3 of them did okay. That isn't the midfield that I personally would pick, but I thought they did okay as a midfield unit. In the air bothers me. The other thing is, if you're going to start playing long balls, you've got to cut the midfield out completely. So you go back to that old tactic of hoofball, where you can't play a ball in the air that's going to, you can't play a ball in the air to the midfield because they're not going to win
get
it.
it. Yeah.
So you're then cutting the midfield out completely and you go into Ollie.
Yeah.
A lot of the time on Tuesday, you go into Paul, which was ridiculous because he wasn't going to win anything in the air. But then you go in long to Ollie and all of a sudden people are going, we're just hoofing the ball, which is what happened on Tuesday.
Because of the small midfield.
Maybe. I don't know. But you're thinking, let's just cut this midfield out, try and get the knockdown. And you've got 3 quite tactical players who like to play it on the 4th. It didn't work.
Yeah.
It didn't work for us at all. We were just hoofing the ball long.
Hoofing?
Hoofing. It is. It's like, it's hoofball. Basically. That's
is that
all.
A thing?
Hoofball.
That could be a very good game.
That was very much Keats's style of play. I think that was the argument, that he just used to hoof the ball long, and people used to call it hoofball. Right. And then it sort of came back. Some of the balls that we were playing, they were coming down with snow on them. there was cloud residue on them on Tuesday night because
I did have a bit of a sore neck because it was like
it was, and we're so good when we play the ball on the floor. I don't know why we have to revert to that.
I mean, isn't that the premise of the game, keeping it on the ground by your feet?
Yeah, and it bothered me a little bit on Tuesday.
The thing that like gets me as well is when they're trying to pass it, rather than being tactical and passing it, with their feet, they seem to play header ball, like literally they're headering it one, to each other, and then that is how, obviously because of the small midfield.
Yeah. You
are going to come unstuck because there's going to be a taller, from the other team. There is going to be a taller midfielder,
and there was,
and they're gonna win the ball if you're headering it to each other, which they did.
Yeah, they had a big guy in midfield, and I think he was probably
number 5.
Can't remember. No, 14 was he? I can't remember anyway. But he, they had a big guy in midfield, and he was probably the height of maybe Luke Young and Elliot Lee standing on each other's shoulders, I think, with a trench coat round them. It was, it was a bit of a mismatch in the middle. And I get why you've got to change things up, and sometimes you've got to play with different players, and that's where the strength and depth comes. But I just felt...
Have at least one taller person in midfield.
Well, it obviously wasn't working.
Yeah.
And I think, by half-time you could tell it wasn't working, and I think maybe it just needed a bit of a change up then at half-time. Mm-hmm. Something else I wanted to talk about was, so the 2 goals we scored, so they were both set-piece goals. So dead ball situations. So one was the penalty, one was the free kick. I haven't asked you this question before this because I wanted you to have a few days away. Can you remember us having another shot on target all game?
No.
No, and I think we did, but they must have been so few and far between, so minimal that I don't remember. I remember Ford's free kick, which was excellent, very good free kick. Mullins penalty,
standard,
very good penalty. I can't remember standing up. That point when you stand up when you're in the crowd, you're going, oh, it's going to go. And you go, no. I don't remember having that moment on Tuesday night. I don't remember thinking we're going to win this on Tuesday night. By the end, here's a question for you. By the end, were you happy with the point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you're always going to be a little bit disappointed that you haven't got the 3 points.
Yeah.
But I think, like you said before, I think Woking, bar the odd dirty player, I think that, was that the... No, it wasn't. Forget it. Yeah, I think that they played well, and ultimately, as much as it begrudges me to say this, I think they deserved to go away with something.
Do you think they deserved more than the point that they got?
Obviously not, no.
No, but if anyone was
being nice saying that they went away with something, so let's leave it at that.
They went away with a point.
Yes.
Would you think they were disappointed to go away with a point? The way they played? For me, there was only one team going to win that. And by the end, I was happy with the point. Because I don't think that one person who's going to win it was going to be us. Because we didn't create enough. It wasn't creative enough. And I tell you what annoyed me is, if we go back now, before Tom O'Connor had a regular run in the team, we had this. There was periods when we had big holes in the middle.
Oh yeah.
And I used to point it out to you.
Yes, you did.
All the time, going, look, massive hole in the middle, and then teams were just waltzing through, and that's why we were conceding goals. It was back on Tuesday night. No, and I don't think it was any sort of coincidence that Tom O'Connor's out, and all of a sudden we got the hole back in the middle again. So that was a worrying thing for me on Tuesday, that the teams who are going to play against you, and they're going to play it on the floor, and they're going to like playing through the middle. They do it nice and early. They're going to spot there's a massive hole in the middle, and they're going to start waltzing right through us. That was the concerning thing for me on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Distribution from the back, which we've sort of talked about already, but it's something I wanted to delve into a little bit deeper. Because, you know, I've already mentioned that the long balls up to Ollie or to Paul, they just weren't working.
Yeah.
The ball was just coming back at us time and time again. But more so, distribution from right at the back, so goalkeeper-wise. How do you feel that Mark Howard distributes the ball? Do you think it's quick enough? Do you think it's always to the right people?
I don't think it's quick enough.
No.
The only time it's quick enough is when he's got one of the other team's players running towards the ball. Running towards him.
Yeah. What about ball in hand? So when he gets the ball, is he distributing it out quick enough?
Again, I think, you know, if there's somebody coming towards him, maybe. But yeah, generally.
Yeah.
Not genuinely. Generally.
Yeah.
I always get those two mixed up. It's he's a bit.
It's a little bit slow.
A little bit slow.
Yeah, and is that his fault though, or is that the people around him not setting quick enough to be in the positions where they should be?
Could be a bit of both, really. Him just kind of like, because I read a lot over the past couple of days in regards to Howard.
Yeah.
And him kind of being a bit nervous when he's got the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why people are saying that, but I think a lot of people are, after we saw Lainton play, I think a lot of people are kind of hoping that Phil Parky's going to
bring him back.
Maybe not for every single game, but you know, for the odd game. And I think that'll have a massive impact on how we play as well.
And I think that's quite detrimental, personally. And
do you really?
I do.
What a surprise!
I will explain why.
Okay, you explain why.
I think with a goalkeeper, what you've got to do is you have to go, right, this is my goalkeeper. This is who my goalkeeper is. Me personally, I don't want to bring a goalkeeper in for a couple of games. It's a case of, right, it's this one or it's this one.
Okay.
And once you set that out, then that's your defensive unit that is set. And I know we're switching and changing in defence at the moment because of necessity, but I don't think you can go, let's bring Leighton in for 2. Let's put Howard back in for a couple. For me, that doesn't work. I think you have to be set in that position. Okay. And then you have to pick that this is your number 1. And this is what it is.
Okay, pick Leighton then.
It's one of them. Everyone is going to have an opinion.
Of course they are.
And, you know, it's which way you go with it. I don't know. I think there was a clear, you know, we have to bear in mind here, before I say what I'm going to say, that Mark Howard's obviously, he's in the, how could we be polite about this? He's in
our age bracket.
Yes. He's in the later stages of his career. Yeah. As I've said before,
he's probably not quite an Ollie.
No, he's not.
Bracket.
As I've said before, he's got a lot more career behind him than he has ahead of him.
Yeah.
That's a polite way of putting it.
Yeah.
Now, I think what you'll find with a lot of keepers around Mark's age are they're quite static in a way. So their job, he would have been brought up sort of in youth ranks to go, right, your job is to stop this ball going in.
Obviously.
Okay. The game has developed over the years, and for a goalkeeper now, it's a lot more about distribution and being that last line of defence. So for Ederson, for example, at Man City, love Ederson. He's very good with his feet.
Yeah.
So It's
what you want from a footballer.
yes, but it's a goalkeeper. So
Is he? Oh,
yes.
okay.
So that's what I'm saying. He very much plays with his feet as opposed to
Throwing
whereas an older style goalkeeper, the natural reaction will be the ball comes to you, you pick it up. Whereas someone like Edison, who's like a new style of goalkeeper, it comes to him. His first instinct is
Put it on the floor.
His feet. He wants to use his feet, and his distribution and stuff like that is as good as a lot of the outfield players that they're playing with. You know, they're very good on the ball.
We can get Edison to be our goalkeeper?
No. No, not at all. But I think the difference, this is what I was going to say, when the Woking goalkeeper, when Woking were attacking, the Woking goalkeeper he was almost on the halfway line.
Yeah.
He was miles outside of his box. And that shows the comfort. He's not a young goalkeeper, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that he is young. He's only a few years younger than Howard. But I think that's where a lot of goalkeepers now, that's how they play.
Yeah.
They will play well outside their box because they're banking that if the play breaks down, they can get back before a team can attack. And ultimately, we are in the National League. The chances of someone scoring from the halfway line are quite minimal, I would say. So that's the sort of different styles, whereas Howard is very much a box goalkeeper.
Mm-hmm.
He's very good at what he does, but there's two very different styles. And I think it's now up to Parky about what sort of goalkeeper do you want in there? Do you want someone who's, quite static within that area? Or do you want someone a little bit more dynamic who's going to come out of their box and is going to be a bit more play it around with their feet a little bit? So there's two choices there, and it's not.
I think if you're going to do that, you do need to be 100% confident in yourself that if for any reason the ball does come back your end, you can get back in that goal, compose yourself, and
but maybe that's
save a goal.
Again, I'm not. That might be an age thing as well. Because I'm not saying Howard, he's 36, he can't run anymore. I'm not saying that, but that might well be an age thing, it's how he's always played. So, we have to bear that in mind as well. But anyway, I don't know what the point was in the end, but let's move on to Aldershot, I think. Oh
my God.
So 10 minutes to go. We're 3-2 up. Notts County are drawing, and everything's rosy in the garden, isn't it? In the garden. But it sort of all fell apart a little bit.
It was horrible.
To a degree, didn't it? Now, we were very much in control in that game.
Yeah.
From the outset.
Yeah.
So we scored very early in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we got another one. So we were sort of 2-0 up, and we were also 3-1 up during the game. Nice and comfortable. Everything looked rosy
in the garden.
But one thing I wanted to sort of discuss was defensive frailties. Yes. So their first goal. Do
you mean our defence?
Frailties,
as you call it.
Yeah. So the ball goes out wide.
Yeah.
O'Connell makes a very poor effort to block the cross. Yeah. It gets cut back, and then nobody's tracked the runner, and the runner he's still got to do quite well to put it away, which he does, and then they score. So that, for me, there was a couple of instances in that build-up where, for me, it was a little bit lazy. It was a lazy block. Nobody tracked the guy coming in, and that was their first goal. The second goal for them was a ball over the top, went over O'Connell's head. Again, they got in behind and they scored. So that was the second one. The third one they scored was a cross from out on the left, and the cross came in to a striker who was literally in between two defenders.
Yeah.
So the ball came to him, he headed it down. It was a very poor header that he did, but it didn't matter because it came off Tunnicliffe. So he headed it, it came off Tunnicliffe. Howard was wrong-footed, so Howard was going the way the guy had headed the ball, and he was going to easily get that. It hit Tunnicliffe and it went in. There's three instances there of poor defending.
Tunnicliffe was gutted when he'd just come on.
We were really happy to see him on the bench.
We
weren't
were.
Until the 89th minute when he put past Howard.
Yeah.
No, but for me, I think there was 3 instances there of poor defending. The first goal was 2 instances of poor defending. The second one, I mean, you shouldn't be getting beat with a ball over the top. And it wasn't a long ball over the top. It was a nice little dink over the top. You've got beaten in behind. And then the third one was just calamitous for me, because when a ball comes in, if you've got 2 defenders there and 1 striker, I mean, law of averages, probability, that, at least one of them 2 needs to be tight to that man. Yeah. And neither of them were. And, you sort of go, Tunnicliffe, there was nothing Tunnicliffe could have done about him coming off him. A lot of people have said, look, it wasn't Tunnicliffe's fault. It's just hit him and he couldn't react. That is true. But equally, surely you should have been a bit tight to the man in the first place and not let him win that first header. Yeah. You're pushing for the league. You're at the end of a game. You're winning by 1 goal. Get tight to your man. Get tight to your man. I'm not saying it was him. Maybe it was, but for me, it's always the back defender that should be picking up that striker.
It's a bit like the Arsenal-West Ham game yesterday as well, when it hit the back of the...
Villa.
Was it Villa?
Yeah.
Sorry, Villa. When it hit the back of the keeper's head and went in, so it was a bit like that.
Yeah. Was it?
Well, it hit Tunnicliffe. It was an own goal anyway.
Yeah, I know. And it was...
But they got an own goal as well.
Yeah, they did.
There was a bit of controversy because Mullen was... There's a picture of Mullen holding 3 fingers up.
Yes.
Because he thought, and as did everybody else, I imagine, because, I certainly did, thought that the 3rd goal, his hat-trick, was Mullen. But it turned out it was actually later on they retracted it from Mullen.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
It wasn't his goal. There's no way that's his goal. And I know he's our player, and I'd love him to have got a hat-trick. There is no chance that is his goal. I'm sorry, there's not. He can claim the match ball. That's fine.
I think he did.
Yeah, he did. I saw it. We saw it on Instagram.
He did, yeah.
That's an own goal. Because as he turns and he flicks it, it's going wide. It's very obviously going wide. And, sorry, Paul. It just really wasn't. It came through on SofaScore. Anyone doesn't know, SofaScore is an app that gives you live goal updates. When it came up on that, it instantly comes through as an own goal. And when you see
they're pretty good, SofaScore.
Yeah, they are. And to be fair, it was an own goal. It was. I'm more than happy for him to claim a hat trick, but you're not getting that. Sorry, no chance. But yeah, so I think for me, there's defensive worries in there. I think we just need to tighten that up a little bit. We've got more than enough defenders. Tunnicliffe's first game back, that's fine. I do worry about our concentration levels towards the end of games sometimes. The amount of goals that we concede
in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Late on in games, it is a worry. And a lot of the time, we've been in games before where we've been 5-0 up. And then, they get one in the 90th minute. That to me is just as important to look at and rectify as conceding a last minute equaliser or a last minute, winning goal for the other team.
Yeah.
Because it all falls under the same category, and it's all about concentrating until the final whistle for me. Yeah. And I just don't think, for whatever reason, we don't have that concentration level.
We've talked about this before.
We have.
It's an old...
And I'm sick of talking about it.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's the same thing over and over again.
They always, when they're a good few goals ahead of the other team, they do seem to get a bit like, we're ahead now. Let's just take a step back. But when they take a step back, history has proven that is when they concede their goals.
Exactly.
Yeah, but...
Super Sammy D saves the day.
Yeah, Super Sammy. We've got Super Paul Mullen, but we've got Super Sammy now.
Super Sammy D saves the day right at the death.
Oh my God.
Brought a bit of stick from Twitter, this. Wrexham. Is it just play until Wrexham win? Because there was 4 minutes of time added on and we scored in the 96th minute. That will just purely be people who didn't watch the game because they had a head injury. So
I was going to say, there was the guy who went off, wasn't there?
Yeah, we won a corner on about 93 minutes.
Yeah.
Guy went down with a head injury. He was down for a couple of minutes. By the time we took that very corner, it was in the 96th minute.
Yeah.
Great header. Yeah, I mean, to be fair to Sam, I would say when he comes on, he usually 9 times out of 10, he does. No, I wasn't going to say he scores.
Oh, right.
He does what he's been asked to do.
Make an impact.
Yeah, he is. He's very much a case of
an impact player, if you will.
If you will. Yes. I think whatever he's been asked to do, he strikes me as a sort of player who Parky will say, right, I want you to do this, 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 and this.
And he does it to the T.
Yeah, he strikes me as that sort of player who listens and wants to learn.
I meant to the letter.
Yeah.
Here's the letter, so we're all right.
He wants to learn and he wants to get better as a player.
Yeah.
That's the sort of player he strikes me as. And, you know, he's still young and he wants to learn and he wants to.
So he's taking advice from people who know.
Yeah, I think so. And I think he's doing as he's been asked to do. And I don't think, as a Wrexham fan, you can really ask any more from Sam Dalby.
It's obviously working. Whatever he's been told to do, and he's doing it. It's working.
It is, and I think, you know, he's a big lad as well. So you've always got the chance of him doing that. So we left it very late.
Oh, but it was like we were like because obviously we couldn't go to the game yesterday.
No.
But we were listening, and it was like, let's just order some food because this is over now. And then literally it was like boom. Sam Dalby, 96th minute. It was like, oh my god!
I'd already thrown my toys out the pram at this point. I was so annoyed that to let a 3-1 lead slip against a team. No offence to Aldershot, but against a team that we should.
They're 23rd, aren't they?
No, they're mid-table now.
Are they?
But against a team that you historically have beaten quite easily and comfortably.
Yep.
I think to let a 3-1 lead slip, a 2-0 lead and a 3-1 lead slip, I think is poor.
Diabolical.
And I was really annoyed. And then it was fine. You know, I deleted my tweet saying, whatever I was going to say. I wasn't. I was only joking.
There was actually, the reason why Ryan says that is because there was actually a tweet by one of our followers on Twitter. I think his name's Andy Davis. And he said, basically, all the Wrexham fans now deleting their hatred of Wrexham tweets because obviously Sam Dalby scored the winning goal. So
I mean, fair play to Aldershot yesterday. There's a bit of a resurgence under their new manager. They were 23rd out of 24 in the league. He's
not where you want to be, is it?
No, he's come in, and they're up to 13th. I think they've been as high as 11th or 12th.
Mm-hmm.
So they've definitely improved under their new manager. So, you know, praise to them for that. And they pushed us right the way to the wire. Although, you know, I've watched the extended highlights. We were on top for large periods of that game.
Which we should be.
And we should have, at 3-1, this is what worries me about the team a little bit, because I think if we're going to, I don't like comparing to other teams, but let's, you know, Notts County, for example, at 3-1, Notts County don't stop.
No.
That in that scenario, Notts County don't stop, and they get 4 and they get 5. What we do is go, right, let's manage our fitness, let's manage our energy levels that we're putting in. And we seem to sit back and we seem to invite teams onto us. And then what happened yesterday seems to happen.
Yeah.
And I think we need to be a bit more, you know, the other way, in the sense of going, right, let's put this team to bed.
How many games do we have to play, though, for them to kind of take that in, you know, that in, basically? Like, when...
It depends what they're getting told. You know, okay, we're 3-1 on, let's manage the game a little bit. And I don't know. It just depends, but you're just inviting teams on, and let's move on.
You're inviting teams on, let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on.
Let's move on to the news. So, Parky,
Yeah.
Manager of the Month in January. Vanarama, Manager of the Month.
There's a lot of words there. I'm not sure. Not sure they're in the right order.
I'll shorten it. Parky, January, Manager of the Month.
Yes. And which says it all, really, because historically what happens is a manager wins Manager of the Month, and the following month your team plays crap. That is, honestly, if you look back at it, that's what happens. So, they, you know, maybe that's what we're seeing.
The curse of manager of the month.
Definitely.
Or the curse of Strictly.
That's such a woman thing to say.
Yeah, and probably half of our listeners don't even know what Strictly is.
No.
It's like Dancing with the Stars.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
In America.
Yeah.
So the Yeovil game, we've had the new fixture date. It is
Yeah.
now going to be on Tuesday, the 18th of April.
Yeah.
And all tickets that were purchased for the previous game will still be valid for the rearranged game. And they have said that if there's, for any reason, there's any tickets available, so ticket availability will be announced at some point before the game, obviously. Soon. Yeah, so great. So it's at 7:45 kick-off, normal time.
Yeah.
So it will be live. It'll be on Panorama TV, National League TV, for us and for international fans.
Yes, it will indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Maidenhead game's been selected as well for TV. So any of our UK listeners, that is on the 4th of March.
That's a Saturday,
That's
isn't it?
a Saturday, so that will kick off at 5:20, and that will be live on BT Sport. So anybody who's got BT Sport, that's good for you. Anybody else, just look for some sort of stream.
Panorama TV.
Panorama TV.
It'll be on that because it's
or if you've got IPTV, I'm sure it'll be on there. So,
okay.
Which a lot of people do.
So, some sad news.
Oh.
Well, gutting news.
Yeah.
Tom O'Connor is out for 6 weeks. I didn't even know that he'd injured himself.
Yeah, so he came off, didn't he, at half time, and then that's when Max came off on.
Was this on Tuesday? Or was it the game before? Was it the Saturday game before?
Saturday, wasn't it? Was it?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know because I don't even remember him injuring himself. So
No, he went down for a little bit. He got back up, and then and then he didn't come back out for the second half. So we knew there was something. He's a little bit injury prone, I think, because
is that the reason why he was out quite a lot?
Yeah. So he's we've had a few instances now where Tom's been out for a while. I'm particularly gutted because I think he's now started to play. And for me, he's an integral part of the team.
Do you think this will set him back a bit?
Hopefully not. No, hopefully it's just 5-6 weeks out. He comes back in. For me, I think maybe we're getting our injuries at the right time as well. Because as long as we can carry on winning it, last season we got a lot of injuries towards the back end of the season.
Yeah.
We lost Aaron Hayden for the season, and I think maybe getting injuries around this time that are 5-6 weeks
gives some chance to.
Everyone's coming back for the run-in, which is a tough run-in as well. So I think that's maybe it's the right time to be getting. I mean, no time's a good time to be getting injuries. As long as we can negotiate this period where we've got players out, then I think we might get everyone back at just the right time.
So who have we got out at the moment? We've got Tom O'Connor for 6 weeks. Jordan Davis should be back in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
Aaron Hayden?
Another 3-4 weeks.
3-4 weeks. I think that's it.
I'm not sure, to be
Reece
honest.
Johnson's back now, isn't he?
I think he's in training.
And Mendy is obviously back.
Yes.
So we're,
I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to talk about Wrexham in an ideal world.
In an ideal world.
So, there's no injuries.
Yep.
Everybody is fit.
Yep.
Physically and match fit as well, so they can play a full 90 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Let's run through each position. I want to know what your starting players are, okay?
All right.
So, in goal. I haven't included everybody in the squad. I've just taken a selection, okay? Just before somebody says, oh, what about him? So, in goal, Howard or Langton? Don't need an explanation, just... Langton. For me... I said no explanation, and I feel like I need to explain. I would go with Langton, I think, as well. But...
So you're allowed to explain, but I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not going to explain either then.
No, don't.
Langton.
Back on.
Okay.
Back three.
Back three. So you got Tozer, Hayden, Tunnicliffe, O'Connell, Cleworth, Lennon.
Hayden.
Yes.
Tozer.
Yeah.
This is a tough one.
Tough, innit?
Yeah. I would go...
Who would you go?
Cleworth.
You'd go to, so you're
Cleworth, as people keep calling him.
So you're Tozer Hayden Cleworth, yeah?
Because we've got, he's a young lad, isn't he, Cleworth, so he's got the legs.
Okay, I personally would go Tozer Hayden Tunnicliffe.
Is that why you put them through it first? On the
No.
So you remember who you chose?
No, not at all. But that would be mine. That would be Tozer Hayden Tunnicliffe. I think that's the strongest three we've got. Although O'Connell, Cleworth and Lennon, good backups, I'd say. But I would say they're backups.
Okay. No explanations.
No. Wing-backs. So you got Reesall, Johnson, Mendy, Ford, McFadzean and Hosanna.
Ford.
Yes.
Mendy.
That's it. Two.
That's why I stopped.
Yeah. So Ford and Mendy for you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think so.
Oh, I thought you'd gone McFadzean.
Do you know what? I thought there was three, so I was going to choose McFadzean.
No. Just left back, right back.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah.
So on the right, you've got Ford. On the left, you've got Mendy.
But McFadzean on the bench.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's Mendy and Ford as wing backs. Your midfield. Young, Tom O'Connor, Cannon, Lee, Davis, James Jones.
Amazing midfield.
I know that's a lot, but you've only got to pick three.
Young, because I love Young.
Yes.
Yep, love him. Tom O'Connor.
Yeah.
Oh.
Didn't it?
Oh. I really like James Jones, but I really liked Jordan Davis as well.
So you've got Young, Tom O'Connor, and...
Can I just have them all?
No, you can't have
Young,
them all.
Tom O'Connor, James Jones.
Would you?
No. Yes, I would.
But it's Young, Tom O'Connor and Elliot Lee for me,
okay.
I think, at the moment. Davis... I think Lee and Davis interchange very much. So I think just because I'm picking Lee, I think Davis has a part to play in that. But I would start with Elliot.
Okay.
And then strikers, Mullin Palmer, Dalby, Bickerstaff.
Mullin Palmer, Dalby.
I think that's...
Every single day.
Yeah, I think so. So I think we're quite similar in our selection, maybe apart from one in the back three and one in midfield.
Yep.
So anybody who wants to get in touch, let us know what your favourite 11 would be. If no injuries, everyone's
ideal
fit.
World.
In an ideal world, who would your first 11 be? We'd be very interested to know. Very interested.
Very interesting. Saturday's game.
Tuesday's
game.
So we've got two games coming up this week. We've got Scunthorpe on Tuesday.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about them? Anything interesting?
Well, they beat Dagenham and Redbridge 3-2 on Saturday.
Yeah.
23rd on 26 points.
Yeah.
So they're 4 points from safety.
Yeah. So they're picking up a few points at the moment.
Yep.
They look a little bit better, although they're still very much in the mire. You very much might fancy them to pull something off. I think before Saturday, their record was 1-1 drawn, 1 lost 1 in their last three.
Mm-hmm.
So with Saturday's result, that means they've now won 2, drawn 1 and lost 1. So in 4 games, they've only lost 1, where I think earlier in the season, over 4 games, I think they probably would have lost all 4, to be perfectly honest. So they're starting to get a little bit of solidity in their team. Yep. But, I don't know.
So we last played them in November last year. And we beat them 3-1.
We did. And I think
Palmer, Hayden, Mullen.
Yeah, it
standard.
It was quite comfortable as well.
Yeah.
I remember watching that game. I think it was on BT Sport when it was on. Don't quote me on that. But I remember watching the game. We seemed quite comfortable. They got 1. And then came back into it a little bit, although I think it was all quite comfortable throughout the game, to be perfectly honest. Their top scorer, was Joe Nuttall, who I think
when we were talking about Scunthorpe, when we were talking about when they were playing their away game on the podcast, and I think he was like one of the ones like, yes, we've got to look out for him, watch him.
Yeah.
But now we don't have to because he's been sold to Oldham.
No, he's gone to Oldham now, which for me is a very strange sale, because Oldham are also fighting relegation in the National League. You've got your top scorer to sell your top scorer to a rival in a relegation battle is just odd to
Do
me.
you think it's because Scunthorpe are facing financial worries and they needed the money, so he was the only one that was
maybe
viable to get sold?
Maybe. I don't know. I just think it's odd. I think I would have been looking round for other teams to sell him to rather than somebody, you know, because if he comes and scores a winner against you, you know, and that's...
Oh, you'd be devastated, wouldn't you?
I just think it's an odd sale.
You would be hated by the fans.
Yeah, so they've brought in, as his replacement, Jerry McDonough.
Where's he from?
I don't know where they bought him from. Do you know who Jerry McDonough is?
No, but I'm thinking that is he related to somebody?
No, he's not related to anybody.
Well, he is related to somebody.
Well, he is, yeah. But
yeah, who is he?
He used to play for Wrexham.
Did he?
He did. I would say...
Oh, so we're going to be hearing the chants.
Yeah.
What's the chants that they sing when...
Wrexham Reject.
Wrexham Reject.
Yeah.
Wrexham Reject, yeah.
Was
he rejected by Wrexham, or did he just...
He didn't play a lot for us,
No.
I'll be honest. I would say 5-6 years ago, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe 2017, 18. I might be wrong with that. I'm not sure. But around that sort of period. He scored a couple of goals for us. He's a big lad.
Is he?
Yeah, he's a big lad.
What position does he play?
He's a striker. So, yeah, he's a big lad. I'm not sure if he's injured at the moment because I don't think he played on Saturday. But
let's hope he is.
He's one. If he does play on Tuesday,
he's one to watch.
Just watch out for him. He wasn't. He was all right when he played for us. He didn't set the world on fire or anything. But...
So if he's a big lad, he should be probably ideally against Ollie. Because Ollie's a striker as well, isn't he?
No. We've had this conversation before, haven't we? Strikers don't stand next to strikers, do they? They're on the opposite end of the pitch.
Oh God, yeah, of course they are.
So
yeah, all right. Shut up. No, let's set up. Move on to Dorking.
Let's move on to Dorking,
which is the Saturday game.
Absolute madhead. Yeah, so they lost to Bromley 2-0 on Saturday.
Yeah.
They've now lost 5 in a row.
Oh, well, it's going to be 6 on Saturday.
I think they're playing on Tuesday.
Oh, it's going to be 7 on Saturday.
It might be 7 on Saturday. They're not... I think Dorking are going to struggle to stay in this league. Dorking are very much... they had a long-term vision and plan of what they wanted to do with the club.
Yeah.
I don't think that vision included getting promoted to the National League this early. So I think they had like a 5-year plan to end up in the National League, and they've sort of ended up here in 2. And they've sort of wandered in and gone, ooh, this is a bit much. And I think it's just slightly too early for them.
Okay.
They're a good team who are going places. They came up via the playoffs from National League South last season. And I just think it was a year or two too early for them because they were building something very good. The owner of Dorking is also the manager. It's crazy. Honestly, it is crazy.
A bit of like,
you wouldn't have. Just go onto YouTube. Anybody out there, go onto YouTube and watch his interviews, the manager's interviews. I won't ruin it for anyone. Just go and have a watch. All I can say is he very much says it as it is. He's not like any manager you have ever seen being interviewed before.
He's the one that's putting the money up, isn't he? So obviously he's going to be angry or whatever.
His interviews are mad. He will call players out, literally. Honestly, it's got a bit of comic value to it. It is. It's very interesting. And he seems quite funny to watch as well. Yeah. But yeah, I just think they're a little bit ahead of where they plan to be. And I don't think they're building the club sort of step at a time. And what they ultimately did by winning the playoffs is they jumped a couple of steps. And I'm not sure they've completely had everything in place to survive in the National League. And ultimately, they're one place, I think, outside of the relegation. So they're 20th on 30 points. They're one place and 1 point above the relegation zone. They are. We beat them 5-0 away in September, but that's when we were putting goals past teams. At the moment, I don't know. I take anything at the moment just to navigate our way through these few injuries we've got.
Yep.
I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, last night, Michael, and I said, and I said to him, I think this is our wobble. So as long as we keep winning and not losing, you know, because we drew on Tuesday night and we didn't play particularly very well.
Mm-hmm.
Aldershot, a team that we were expected to beat quite comfortably, and we've just sneaked through it. I think this is our wobble. And as long as we keep winning through this,
through the wobble,
I will. Yeah. I'm happy. Yeah. You know, just keep winning, and then we can get back to the Wrexham that we know later on. Yeah, and as long as we're doing that, I think we'll be.
Yeah.
Their top scorer is James McShane.
James McShane.
He's got 16 this season. It's the 5th best in the National League, so he knows how to score.
Not as good as Mullen, though.
No, it's not, but it's definitely one to keep an eye on. So Scunthorpe game and Dorking game. What's your predictions for them two?
Right, Scunthorpe.
Yeah.
Tuesday night. I'm gonna go with 3-0.
Okay, and Dorking?
5-0.
5-0.
Yeah, why not?
I'm going to go 2-0, 2-0.
Okay.
Okay? I'm happy just to get through these games, keep winning. 2-0, 2-0. 2-0,
on a match day, I always put a post on saying what your score predictions are. Weirdly, nobody in the past get 2 games, so the game on Tuesday last week and the Saturday game, have got the...
Oh, that's weird.
Predictions right.
Nobody got us winning 4-3 at Aldershot.
Yeah.
That's odd, isn't it?
So if, you know, obviously when you do score predictions, if they are correct, I will obviously talk about them and announce them on the podcast. So just
but
to give
you're
you a
all
shout
rubbish and none of you got them right. So there you go. Talking about people.
Neither did you. So you're rubbish as well.
Talking about people who got in touch. We've picked out a couple this week. So David Middleton said that Mendy scored against us last season when he was with Wealdstone. Come on, man. I'm in Texas and I know this. Lol.
Well,
actually, David, I'm going to have to correct you here. So he did score against us when he was at Wealdstone, but he wasn't at Wealdstone last year. He was at Boreham Wood, like I said. He was at Wealdstone a couple of years ago. So he actually scored against us in 2020, not
so did he not score against us last season?
For Boreham Wood? No, he didn't. No. So yeah, it was a few years ago, David. Thank you for getting in touch. But
Andrea Tannehill, another great episode this week. My husband and I watched the documentary and are now hooked on all things Wrexham. We live in Vernon, British. I don't know why I do that. I'll do it in my normal voice. We live in Vernon, British Columbia, Canada. We're happy we found your YouTube channel. We look forward to each of your episodes. We now make our own pre-game predictions right along with you. I bet you didn't get the one yesterday, did you? We are excited for the Woking game tomorrow. Go Wrexham.
So that was on Monday. That was on Monday. Yes. She sent that through. And Norman Carter, I love the podcast. I listen as soon as it comes out. I've been a long-time soccer/football fan, but I'm a new Wrexham fan, and I feel like they're my team. The same way I root for my Baltimore Blast indoor team and my Orlando FC at the MLS.
So yeah, thank you for everyone for getting in touch. Obviously, you know, we're only doing our podcast, so we can't fit everybody in. No. But we do endeavour to reply to everybody.
We do. We try.
So thank you. But if you do want to get in touch, we are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and if you want to send us an email, it's me, the wife, and WrexhamAFC@gmail.com.
Just a quick shout out for Dragon Chat. I mention it every week. It's a mental health peer support group. They run a weekly Zoom call, and that's on a Thursday from 7 till 8:30. And it's an opportunity for people to get together, talk, discuss any issues they might have, talk about the football. It's a great little group for everybody to get together. So if you're struggling a little bit or you want somebody to talk to, like I say, it's a great service. If you want to get on that, there's a link down in the description, and you can click on that on a Thursday. Alternatively, head over to the Wrexham AFC Facebook page, and they post all the details of how to get on that call on a Thursday. Just before the quiz, there's something else I wanted to mention. So
yes, I'll marry you.
We're up for an award. for the best podcast, non-league
We're
podcast.
not up for the awards.
Well, we're in the mix.
We're in the
there.
mix, but we're not up for
so
it.
So you can vote for us for best podcast if you want to, if you really want to. All the details of that are down in the description. If you are, if you're watching on YouTube, if you are listening to the podcast, head over to our Facebook page, our Instagram page, our Twitter page, and there are details of how that you can actually vote for us on each one of them, whichever is your preferred platform.
If you're not sure, get in touch and we'll tell you how to do it. Get in touch,
send us an email, send us a message, and we will tell you how you can vote for us as the best podcast. Because we are pretty good, aren't we?
We are good.
Well, we try.
Yeah.
Okay.
Quiz time.
Quiz time. So, Sam Dalby scored a 96th minute winner for Wrexham on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, against Aldershot.
Yeah.
So what I thought I would do is the quiz this week would be about late goals. Okay?
Yes.
So this is the late goals quiz.
Okay.
Okay. Question 1.
Sam Dalby.
No. Who scored an 86th minute winner, his first for the club, in the 2-1 win against Altrincham earlier this month?
O'Connell.
Owen O'Connell. Well done. That is 1 point.
Thank you.
Question 2.
Yep.
On the 24th of January, Paul Mullin scored a 92nd minute goal to make it 3-0 away to what team? We watched it, if that helps. So
No, it doesn't.
Watched it on National League TV. So our third goal to make it 3-0.
Maidenhead.
No, it was Gateshead.
Ah! Not sure what that noise was.
Nor me. Don't do it again. Question 3. Heading into injury time on the 21st of January, with the game at 2-2
Yes.
Against Maidstone,
Yep.
which defender scored a 91st minute winner for Wrexham?
Mendy.
It wasn't Mendy, it was Aaron Hayden. You are awful.
This is why I need to learn. I know who they are, and I kind of know which positions they play. But
Mendy, I would say, is a defender.
Is he?
It wasn't a ridiculous guess, but
okay.
Before Woking, the last time we dropped points was in December when Manny Duku scored a 92nd minute equaliser against us. But who does Manny Duku play for?
Was this a home or away game?
Whoa, that's not in the question.
Oh, I'm asking.
The last time we dropped points was in December when Manny Duku scored a 92nd minute equaliser against us.
Solihull Moors.
No, it was away.
Oh.
We were there.
Oldham.
No!
Coventry.
Shut up. It was
York! December! Ah!
God, you're awful.
We were there.
We were there.
We were there.
In early October, we were 1-0 down against Oldham.
God,
we were there as well, okay? 1-0 down against Oldham before Ben Tozer scored an 85th minute equaliser.
Uh-huh.
And then who scored a 96th minute winner?
Mullen.
Well done.
That was just a pure
Stab in the dark. Who scores all the goals?
Yeah, who scores all the goals? That'll be Mullen, yes.
Yeah. So you did crap, really, on that. I'd say, pretty poor.
What's new, eh?
What's new, pussycat?
Oh.
Whoa. Anyway, thank you very much for tuning in again this week. Don't forget to vote for us, Best Podcast. I know I've only just said it a couple of minutes ago, but please vote for us. It would mean a lot to us. We've had a few votes already.
We have had a few votes
that we know of. So
thank
you very much. Don't forget, Thursday we have episode 32 coming out, which is the interview with Wrexham legend Lee Jones. So
it's a good one.
It is a good one. So we'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye.